Yes, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first lecture of CA Final Audit, regular course, 100% English batch. So not a single word of Hindi will be spoken unless I'm in some different mood. All right. So we are here to start and finish with full confidence one of the most feared subjects at final CA level, and that is advanced auditing and professional ethics. The subject is not feared because it is difficult. The subject is not feared because institute is asking questions which have never been asked before, and all of a sudden they are asking difficult questions. These are not the reasons for the subject being difficult. The subject is feared because somehow from inter CA to final CA, in between that 2.5 years period that you get, somehow students are not able to give proper time to audit subject, because of which they end up compromising on some topics. They end up missing out on some topics. So they are not able to cover full final CA audit syllabus properly. And because of that, from the topics that they have missed out, institute is asking questions. And that is why you feel that this subject is one of the subjects which will block you in exams. Otherwise, let me tell you, the material that you are going to get from my side, which many of you have already received, and the coverage that we are going to have in this lecture, I can say it with confidence and in writing that whatever questions you see in the examination paper, you will see from all the discussions that we are doing, because the formula is very simple. Do not skip the ICAI material. No shortcuts, no shortcuts, no too much of smart works and stuff. We cannot skip the ICAI material. Every single concept that they have discussed, we need to discuss. Every single question that they have in their question bank, we need to discuss. We need to spend some time for that. And once we do it, I can give a guarantee that you are going to clear this paper with flying colors, provided the dedication that you are showing in the first lecture stays till the last lecture. In final CA, especially in audit subject, it is not about your intelligence. It is just about your persistence. Whether you are continuing with the same dedication from the first lecture till the last lecture. There are some subjects like accounts, like FM, SFM, like your direct tax. Understood this? Then, company law, director's topic. Wow. So there are these topics where you stay glued to your seats from the first lecture till last lecture. But in my subject, in the first lecture, everyone is like this. Yeah, yes, we are going to clear it. Yes. And then by the 4th, 5th lecture, yeah, we are going to clear it, bro. Yeah. And then by the 10th lecture or 12th lecture, I don't see those guys only. All right. So please ensure that you just maintain persistence. Otherwise, as you can see, I'll just try to show my tummy is very big. All right. So I have a lot of space to adopt you. So every single student that has enrolled in this batch, consider me as your temporary father. All right. And temporary elder brother. So you are adopted now. Every single requirement of yours will be taken care by me, not only from this day, but till the day of your exams. Till the day of your exams, I'll be there with you. In fact, the batch which I just completed, even those students till now, till this date also, they are getting updates regularly from my side. None of their facilities have been blocked. All the facilities will continue for all the students who have enrolled in that batch. So similar stands for you also. So if there is a November 23 student sitting over here, then till November 23, you will be given amendment support, question bank, everything. Don't worry about it. So it is not about like only May 22, November 22, or such students only for next 6 months, 12 months, I'll be giving you support. You are my adopted children now till your attempt. It is as simple as that. All right. So on that positive note, let us start with the subject without wasting any further time. Students, most of you would have received, unless you have taken admission in the last 2-3 days, most of you would have received the standards in auditing book, right? So there is one essay content, and then there is one essay question bank. I would request if you can just open that book. All right. Now the book that you have got, that book is basically standards on auditing content and standards on auditing question bank. But now first, in the first 5 to 10 minutes, I need to tell you about the whole syllabus. Everyone is worried that whether in the last 1.5 days you will be able to cover your syllabus or not. Correct? Everyone is worried about that. The strategy for the last 1.5 days begins today. So from this day till the last day of your exams, if you prepare properly, then in the last 1.5 days, you will be able to cover it up. Everyone over here, please. All right. So your subject, that is paper 3, advanced auditing and professional ethics. Your subject gets divided into 4 parts. Part 1. You know what? Once I'm writing this, but if it is possible for you, it is there in my textbook also. But if it is possible for you, even you should write. Understood this? Because this will just give you the feeling about how many topics are there and stuff. All right. So you will be very much sorted. Some students should write because they may feel sleepy. Otherwise, they should keep writing. If you are very much alive, active, then in that case, you may not write it. I will be uploading this, but don't be lazy that, okay, sir is going to upload, so I will not write. Okay. So advanced auditing and professional ethics gets divided into 4 parts. First part is your favorite topic. I mean, you love this like anything. Since inter-CA level, you are in love with this topic. And that is auditing and assurance standards. I know that this topic was your favorite at inter-CA level. You used to hate company audit at inter-CA level, and you were in love with standards on auditing. Boss, I am going to be optimistic, whatever be the reality, but I'm going to be optimistic over here. So, auditing and assurance standards. Students, your syllabus is very simple. 35 essays plus 1 SQC. Means 35 standards on auditing plus 1 standards on quality, 1 standard on quality control. This is your formula. I will be discussing about these things. I'm just giving you a breakup. All right. Now, this particular formula, this covers 4 chapters of the ICAI module. It covers 4 chapters of the ICAI module. Plus, it covers one of the major books of the institute, which now no more is a formality. That is, Urvi, I have just started, don't worry. Which is nothing but auditing pronouncements. So if you were ignoring auditing pronouncements, or if you thought that this book can just be ignored, and we may do standards from some short summary notes, then in that case, institute has proven everyone wrong in January 21 and July 21 attempt. So this book is no more a formality. And that is why the standards on auditing book that you have, I had to draft 2 books for this, content and question bank. And once you already got those books, content and question bank, the students who have taken admission in the last 2-3 days will just getting it within the next couple of days or so. I can give it to you in writing that we are covering full auditing pronouncements plus 4 chapters of the ICAI module. Understood this? So that is why how this is getting covered in the Audit Academy book. Your part 1 essay content and essay question bank. Question bank does not only contain questions from past papers and just module questions. Question bank, in the question bank, I have developed many questions from the auditing pronouncements which have never been asked till date. Let's do this, and it is possible that they may ask it in future. All right, because institute is reducing the trend of asking repeating questions from past papers now. Part 2 of your syllabus is, look at this, advanced auditing and professional ethics. Professional ethics. What is professional ethics? Do's and don'ts of chartered accountant. Students, the ICAI has developed a separate board called as Ethical Standard Board. Ethical Standard Board takes care about do's and don'ts of chartered accountants. So there is one book which is issued by Ethical Standard Board, and that book is called as Code of Ethics. That book is called as what? Code of Ethics. Every chartered accountant, every member of the institute is expected to follow that book. So part 2 is nothing but professional ethics. And this is nothing but the code of ethics governing member of the institute. And you will be getting, students, good news for you everyone. I think this will wake you up. You will be getting 16 marks questions from professional ethics. And it is possible to score full marks over here. 100% scoring can be done. See, वैसे तो it is possible to score 100% even in auditing and assurance standards, you know. But I don't want to be like over here, you know, students, the word impossible also says that I am possible. You need to believe in yourself. See, I am neither Sandeep Maheshwari nor Gaur Gopal Das. Understood this? So I respect everyone. So let them handle the part of motivation. I need to tell you that what practically can come in the paper and how much you can score. 16 marks questions of professional ethics. You can score 100% marks over here. And good news is that all the questions are practical questions where you actually deal with the sections of the code of ethics and you need to answer. Am I clear with this? Yes, sir. Okay. Part 3 of the syllabus is your favorite, but if you see the recent papers, it is no more institute's favorite now. All right. And that is company audit. Now you think that in company audit there is only section 139 to section 148, but you know what, they try to test some of your knowledge of inter-CA company law also, which I will tell you when I teach the chapters, don't worry. So company audit, section 139 to section 148 of Companies Act 2013 plus some other concepts. All right. And students, frankly speaking, company audit weightage is a very volatile weightage. So boss, sometimes they may ask you a question of 10, they may ask you questions ranging up to 10 to 12 marks. Sometimes you may not see even a single question. All right. Or sometimes you may see questions from a very off color kind of sections. Like in July 21, they asked questions from section 130 and 131 of Companies Act 2013. So it was not asked from the range of 139 to 148 because they were trying to test your knowledge of inter-CA company law in audit paper. That is why I will find out exactly which sections of inter-CA can be asked in your final CA audit paper. Don't worry about it. All right. So students, this can have an impact of around, there is no fixed weightage. It could go from 0 to 12 marks. But on an average, yes. On an average, in most of the attempts, it has had an impact of 10 marks. In some of the attempts, only in a few attempts, you know, you may see 0 mark question from company audit. Or so all of a sudden, you may see 10 marks or 12 marks questions from company audit. All right, very volatile weightage, very volatile weightage. Part 4. You ask any of your senior who has unfortunately not cleared audit paper, and they will tell you that they failed because of part 4. And I'll tell you, I'll give you one joke. Part 4 is neither difficult nor it is lengthy. Part 4 of the syllabus is neither difficult nor it is lengthy, just that it is ignored by the students who are giving their first attempt because they just don't like it. It does not have too much of logics. The discussions are dry discussions. So students are like, I'm not interested. But it does not matter whether you are interested or not. It matters what institute is interested in. So part 4 of the syllabus, small topics: audit of banks, audit of NBFC, audit of insurance, audit of public sector undertaking. Then some different concepts of auditing, like what is internal audit, management audit, operation audit, investigation, due diligence, forensic audit, idli vada, mendu vada. So small discussions. So when you look at those topics individually, you feel like, sheh, this to I think we can manage. Sheh, this to I think we can manage. Sheh. Then when all of the topics come together for 30 to 35 marks, then the student just keeps on dancing in the paper. So part 4, audit of various entities and other special assignments. Students, this can have an impact of 30 to 35 marks in your paper. There are around 12 topics in this. There are around 12 small topics in this. But all 12 small topics, one question, 2 mark, 3 mark, 4 mark, all of them taken together can have an impact of 30 to 35 marks in your paper. Of course, standards in auditing will be having an impact of 25 to 30 marks in your paper. All right. So some students who are sitting still with calculators are going to do this 25 to 30, then 1645 around, and 57 around over here, and then 30-35. Still, this person is not telling us 100 marks weightage exactly what is going to be there. See, it is not 10 standard, 12 standard exam. Understood this? So there can always be plus minus 5 over here. Professional ethics has been consistently being asked for 16 marks. Otherwise, across all the other topics, there could be plus minus 5 over here and there. And don't forget, in audit paper, they try to test your knowledge of Ind AS. Oh my God, really, sir? Yes. They try to test your knowledge of Schedule 3 of Companies Act 2013. They try to test your knowledge of few company law concepts. I will find out. I will exactly tell you which kind of Ind AS they can ask. What questions from Schedule 3 they can ask. I'll tell you. Of course, I'm not going to discuss Ind AS and Schedule 3 over here. All right. But I will be giving you guidance of other subjects, what kind of questions can be asked. Students, these things taken together, they have an impact of around 10 marks in your audit paper. Understood this? So there are few points which are covered outside audit subject, but they still have an impact of 10 marks in your audit paper. I hope that you are now getting the feeling that, okay, boss, this is our full syllabus. What happens is that at final say level, the discussions go on and on and on and on and on. But for one student does not take out 5 minutes to understand that what is their full syllabus. All right. So we will be starting now with part 1. Then later on, part 2, 3, and 4 will be covered in my separate book, which will be titled as non-essay content. So I have divided the syllabus into 2 parts. One is essay content and the other one is non-essay content. Separate content book, separate question bank book. And good news, earlier I was going to add MCQs, along with that essay content, non-essay content. But as per the suggestions of the previous batch, they told us that, sir, if you can give us a separate book on MCQs. So you will be getting one more book, 5th book, that is only book on, dedicated book only on MCQs, multiple choice questions. All right. Okay. Everyone over here now. That was added because of the suggestions of the previous batch. So what I'm trying to tell you is I don't have ego issues. If you want to give me some suggestions, I'm open for that. Whatever I am today is because of student suggestions only. I have heard students, their problems, their needs. That is the reason that I can deliver what they expect. So please don't stop giving suggestions. I am there with you. All right. Okay. If there is anything productive, it will be implemented. Now let us talk about your paper, how your paper looks like before I go ahead, so that you will understand my markings when I start teaching. Your paper naturally will be divided into MCQs and then descriptive questions. I hope that you are clear with this, that MCQs will have an impact of around 30 marks and descriptive questions will have an impact of around 70 marks. All right, this is the distribution. Now MCQs, what do you think? What kind of MCQs will be asked? Chalo students, auditor of government companies appointed by CAG of India. Very good, very good. So in multiple choice questions, they will be asking integrated case study based questions. This depends upon their mood. This could be either 10 marks or 20 marks. Either 10 marks or 20 marks questions over here. What is integrated case study based questions? You see this syllabus? From this full syllabus, they will mix up 5 to 6 concepts. And then they will ask over here. For example, even right now also you can start understanding this. For example, if a chartered accountant is not following standards on auditing, and if he's conducting audit of a company, while conducting audit of a company, chartered accountant is not following standards on auditing. So what can be the liability on that chartered accountant as per professional ethics? Because he's also violating code of ethics. So students, they can mix up any of the concepts over here, 5 to 6 concepts, they will mix it up. And then they will ask in your exams. That is called as integrated case study based questions. So either there could be 2 case studies and 5 questions. So one question will have 2 mark weightage, something like that. And that is why I said 20 marks, or they can ask 1 case study, 5 questions and 2 marks per, 2 marks per question. So 10 marks. So 10 marks, 20 marks over here. And then there could be some individual MCQs. Means one MCQ, one concept, second MCQ, another concept, not creating a full story of 5, 6 concepts together. All right. So these naturally will be the balance marks. And that is why it is very important. All of a sudden, it has become very important to cover every single concept. Because let me be very frank, till the time institute did not introduce MCQs, even I used to give some guidance to the students that, okay, this topic you can leave it in option. I used to smartly tell them that how they can attempt the paper and also leave few topics in option. No? So by leaving few topics in option also, there was a chance to score an exemption in the paper when there were no MCQs. But from the moment they've introduced MCQs, and that also integrated case study based MCQs, bloody, they can connect any 5 concepts from the paper, from the syllabus. So the chance of leaving syllabus in option is gone. It is completely gone. First, accept that fact. Understood this? Never ask me this question that, sir, can you just tell us which topics we can leave in option? I will leave you in option then. Never ask me that question because it is not possible now. Okay. You can ask me, sir, how we can cover it in short, sir, how we can cover it in better manner. All that I will tell you. You ask me about quitting and leaving few topics in option, then you are cancelled from my list. You take refund, enjoy. Okay. Descriptive questions of 70 marks. Here you will have pure theory questions. You will have case study based questions. That we'll discuss. There will be various range of questions that we will discuss and how to answer it. So why I'm telling this? So that you don't take any discussion lightly. You should not feel like standards on auditing, I will leave it in option. Then later on, professional ethics, company audit, I will score good marks. You don't have that luxury now because of these integrated case study based MCQs. All right. Everyone, now we are of course going to start with part 1 of our syllabus, and that is engagement and quality control standards. But before I go ahead, you can use one thumbs up option and you can tell me whether you've understood the distribution of syllabus and what you can expect in your paper. Yes? Fine. Please, please, please maintain the same level of dedication till the last lecture. All right. And then I will go through. Before I go ahead with the starting of the syllabus, just 2 minutes. So in the weekdays, that is Monday to Saturday, I count it as weekdays. So Monday to Saturday, we'll be having lectures and Sunday will be your test. Every Sunday, I'll be sharing one question paper of whatever we have discussed from Monday to Saturday. You can attempt that test on Sunday. You can attempt that test on any day. Understood this? It's not like you have to attempt this Sunday only. But if you try to follow Sunday to Sunday schedule of attempting the test, then for sure with me, you will finish your syllabus. And if your attempt is in November 23 and you are still sitting over here, then in that case, don't feel like I'll just do it later on. I'll just do it later on, because later on you will start with another subject. May 22 students, they are on gas. If there are May 22 students who are sitting over here, they will do it. I know that. If you are May 22 and if you're not doing it, I will hang you for till death, because this is not good. May 22 needs to finish it off with me right now. If at all some December 21 students have taken admission over here, then you need to finish it off on daily basis with me. November 22, May 23, November 23, please, this is not a joke. So try to finish it off with me. I don't need to motivate December 21 and May 22 students. Their seniors have already motivated them or scared them. So they will anyways, finish off this subject with me. All right. So yes, if you are December 21, if you have joined, daily basis, you are going to revise and you have to attempt test without fail. All right. Yes. Okay. Everyone try to attempt test. I'll be checking it. I may take some 6-7 days to come back with the comments and stuff, but I will be checking your papers. All right. Okay. Now, everyone over here, the students looking at the recorded video also, you can also write the test and finish it off. If you are in my Super 100 batch, which is this batch 4, then in that case, your papers will be checked by me. All right. If you're looking at some pen drive, Google Drive version, then in that case, you will be given the answer sheet and you have to evaluate on your own. But I check papers only of the students who have enrolled in my live with recorded batch. All right. Okay. Everyone over here now. Part 1 of your syllabus. Stop calling it as standards on auditing only. You should have some brand in your language. Come on. You want clothes branded, food branded. And when it comes to language, China, look at this. Engagement and quality control standards. Please take a fresh page. Give this heading. The lecture will go on like face-to-face only. Because if you don't write with me, you are not going to write it later on. Part 1, engagement and quality control standards. Yes. Now, before I start introducing standards and stuff, you know what? In your module, as I told you, we cannot leave even a single page of your module in option. In your module, first, they have given a little bit of history. Now, it is a mystery whether they will ask this history in the paper or not. But no, rather than thinking about that mystery, let us understand the history. Everyone over here, the great ICAI, once upon a time, developed a research committee. The ICAI once upon a time developed a research committee. That research committee first time came out with some guidance on auditing standards, that how audit needs to be done and stuff. So first time they came up with a guidance on auditing standards, on auditing practices. This was the first document ever issued by the institute on standards. All right. At global level, there is a body called as International Federation of Accountants. I don't know whether you have heard about this body or not. International Federation of Accountants. This International Federation of Accountants takes care about international accounting and auditing standards. Like how we have standards on auditing SA, they issue ISA, International Standards on Auditing. Okay. So this IFAC, they developed APC. That is Auditing Practices Committee. They developed APC, Auditing Practices Committee. Now this Auditing Practices Committee, they came up with something called as International Auditing Standards. Now, the ICAI felt very jealous. They said that bloody at global level, there is an Auditing Practices Committee. and we just have a research committee. So they said, no, something needs to be changed over here. So later on, research committee RC was scrapped. RC was converted into Auditing Practices Committee at India level. So this IFAC, the Auditing Practices Committee that they developed, is called as International Auditing Practices Committee, I for international. And our Auditing Practices Committee, which the ICI developed, is called as APC, that is Auditing Practices Committee. Don't call it as National Auditing Practices Committee or something like that. So Auditing Practices Committee. All right. So these Auditing Practices Committee, this Auditing Practices Committee also developed, basically whatever earlier statements were issued by Research Committee, they were officially converted into auditing standards. Now look at this. At the global level, IFAC thought, International Federation of Accountants, they thought that we are not enjoying this. No, Auditing Practices Committee, no. They converted International Auditing Practices Committee into IAASB. That is International Auditing and Assurance Standard Board. International Auditing and Assurance Standard Board. Now the ICAI, as we have habit of picking up from foreign culture, the ICAI said, come on, man, we are not going to stay back over here. So Auditing Practices Committee was converted into Auditing and Assurance Standard Board by the ICAI. What is going on, man? This copycat stuff. So Auditing Practices Committee Institute converted it into AASB, Auditing and Assurance Standard Board. And come on, no marks for such kind of guesses. But if IAASB issued something called as IAAS, International Auditing and Assurance Standards, they issued IAAS, International Auditing and Assurance Standard, then the ICI would have issued, yes, they issued AAS, Auditing and Assurance Standards. That is how Auditing and Assurance Standards came into picture. So currently we have Auditing and Assurance Standard Board, and what they have issued is Auditing and Assurance Standards. All right, students, I'm just scrolling it one more time. So very quickly, this is the Indian scenario and this is the global scenario. One more time. The ICI developed Research Committee. Research Committee issued first time guidance on auditing practices. Research Committee was later on converted into APC, Auditing Practices Committee. APC was later on converted into Auditing and Assurance Standard Board. And this Auditing and Assurance Standard Board issued AAS. Why this system, why this chronology was followed? Because this is exactly what was happening at the global level also. International Federation of Accountants, they came up with IAPC, International Auditing Practices Committee. They issued International Auditing Standards. Then IAPC was converted into IAASB, that is International Auditing and Assurance Standard Board. And IAASB issued IAAS, International Auditing and Assurance Standards. This is the shortest version of the theory that is given in the module. If you see the descriptive part, don't look at the index of the standards as of now. First, in this lecture, I just need to invest in the basics first. Then I will tell you about the index of the standards. Please come to page number 4 of your textbook. All right. So look at this, Introduction to Standards and Basic Concepts to Learn Essays. Now this timeline, everyone quickly go through this timeline. Come on, this is not a concept where we need to waste a lot of time. Look at this. 1955, Council of ICI set up a research committee. 1964, first time they published something called as Statement on Auditing Practices. Then later on in 1977, International Federation of Accountants was developed. And they developed IAPC, International Auditing Practices Committee, to formulate international auditing standards. And IAPC came up with international standards on auditing. Come on. This is a little boring concept. Don't sleep over here. So IAPC, this institute, 1982, The ICAI converted research committee into APC, Auditing Practices Committee. And this Auditing Practices Committee started officially giving standards on auditing, guidance notes and stuff. Okay. And then in 2002 July, the ICAI converted APC into AASB. And statements on auditing practices which were issued earlier are now named as Auditing and Assurance Standards. Yes? I mean, here there is no problem. This is just statement of facts. I have not explained any concept. I'm just teaching you the facts which are given in the module. So this was pure factual content. All right. Okay. Now I'll be talking about some concepts. So these auditing and assurance standards, which are issued by Auditing and Assurance Standard Board, they are collectively, all of them taken together, are called as Engagement and Quality Control Standards. Come on, we are going to learn actual bare pronouncements. So for that, I need you also to be warmed up. Understood this? You need to be ready for that. All right. So that is why first 2 to 3 lectures will be investing in essay basics. Otherwise, straight away, if I start showing you pronouncements, you'll be like, I'm in which world? So engagement and quality control standards, they are divided into 5 categories: SQC, SA, SRE, SAE, and SRS. They are divided into 5 categories. So students, I need to tell you first the full form of each category. Naturally, this is standards on quality control. I will be explaining the meaning within the next 5 minutes. But can you please copy this full form and stuff? Yeah. Then we will discuss about the meaning. AAS issued by AASB. Please write down, otherwise next time you will never write it. Down arrow. Engagement and quality control standards. These are collectively called as what? Collectively called as what? Engagement and quality control standards. Come on. They are divided into 5 categories. Finish at least standards lectures, attend live and finish it with me. Otherwise, you will not do it on your own. SQC, SA, SRE, SAE, SRS. Okay. SQC, SA, SRE, SAE, SRS. Correct? Everyone with me over here? Yes, sir. I'll keep on replying to myself, because you are on mute mode. No, so I need someone to motivate me. All right. Now, SQC, standards on quality control. SA, write down the full form. Standards on auditing. First, we will just write the full form. Then we will discuss the meaning and the differences. And this one is standards on review engagement. I'll continuously make you write standards on review engagement. This one is standards on assurance engagement. And the last one is standards on related services. I could have easily used PPTs, but in PPTs, somehow students don't feel confident. They feel like if the professor himself is looking and is reading and explaining, then how are we going to write it in exams? So if I, as a student and a professor, create it in front of you, then you will start believing that, yes, we can also write it. Okay. So there are 5 categories: standards on quality control, standards on auditing, standards on review engagement, standards on assurance engagement, and standards on related services. Now, students, now comes the concept. Why there are 5 categories? I mean, accounting standard is so nice, man. AS or Ind AS. Then we don't have categories of Ind AS. Now look at this. 5 categories, because every single category has some purpose. Standards on quality control. This is like our parents, yeah, standards on quality control. Whether there are 5 children, 10 children, 15 children, parents will have same kind of guidelines. See, you need to spend within your limits. You need to come home at time. You need to do same kind of instructions. Standards or quality control is something like that. No matter whichever assignment you are performing, this is a general guideline how to maintain quality in your assignment, whether you are under standards on auditing, standards on review engagement, standards on assurance engagement, or standards on related services. So I taught you two concepts over here. SA, SRE, SAE, SRS, they deal with some kind of assignments, some specific assignments. Whereas SQC does not deal with any assignment. It is nothing but a general guidance on how you are supposed to maintain your quality. So everyone over here, down arrow. General quality control measures. While performing various engagements. General quality control measures while performing various engagements. Come on. All right. General quality control measures while performing various engagements. Now comes your syllabus. You actually have only this in your syllabus: standards on auditing and one SQC that you have in your syllabus. Why you have only one SQC in your syllabus? Because only one SQC has been issued. Understood this? So this category has only one standard. That is why you have only one in your syllabus. Now everyone over here, standards on auditing. Come on. This deals with audit of financial statements. This deals with what? Audit of financial statements. I need to discuss something over here. Tell me, internal audit. There are so many different audits, no? Internal audit, audit of internal controls, concurrent audit, which happens in banking industry, and insurance industry, mutual fund industry. There are so many various types of audit that go on. But let me be very clear: standards on auditing deals only with audit of financial statements. Please don't assume that standards on auditing deals with every type of audit. No. Standards on auditing deals only with audit of financial statements and no other types of audit. Am I clear with this? Yes or no, sir? Yes, sir. Be very, very clear on this. Because internal audit, we have separate standards on internal auditing. So please don't mix it up. Okay. Standards on review engagement. Down arrow. Please write down. Deals with review of financial statements. Deals with review of financial statements. All right, students, we need to pause over here and we need to understand the exact difference. Please be careful. You may be looking at an examination question over here in the next 5 minutes. So, standards on auditing deals with audit of financial statements, and standards on review engagement deals with review of financial statements. We need to understand. Don't write this as of now. Difference between audit and review. Because standards on auditing deals with audit of financial statement. That is also an examination of financial statements. And standards on review engagement deals with review of financial statements. That is also an examination of financial statements. So what is the difference between the word audit and review? All right. Let me tell you in technical language first, then I will simplify it for you. Everyone, do you remember from your inter-CA discussions that auditing provides reasonable assurance? Yes. What do you understand by reasonable assurance? A very high level of assurance, but not a guarantee. A very high level of assurance, but not a guarantee. Correct? Okay. That is why in our report we write that we hereby express our opinion that financial statements show a true and fair view of the state of affairs and profit and loss account. But we always say to the best of our knowledge and information available with us, because we are very much certain, but we are not providing guarantee. So audit is a reasonable assurance, little less than guarantee. Whereas when it comes to review has very limited assurance. Sir, can you please explain this practically? Of course, yes. I want students to raise hands who are in audit of listed entities. Anyone who can come into this discussion, audit of listed entities? Anyone, please? Yeah, Vivek.
Yes.
Vivek, so in audit of listed entities, you have a SEBI requirement that quarterly financial statements need to be reviewed, correct?
Yes, sir.
So tell me, when you go for quarterly financial statements which need to be reviewed, when that means when you visit first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, no? At that point of time, do you work a lot more or you work at the year end a lot more?
At year end, sir.
At the year end. Why? Vivek, can you tell them that in the first 3 quarters, you are just expected to review by SEBI? That what is review? A moderate level of examination. Whereas when it comes to audit, it is a detailed level of examination. Now, Vivek, if you know, I'm really enjoying this discussion with you. If at all you can put some light, if you know it, because I don't expect articles to know everything, but if you know it, the review report in the first 3 quarters, it is addressed, to the directors, to the management. In that review report, the paragraph that we write, the opinion that we give on the financial statements, do you remember anything from that paragraph, beta?
No, that
Yeah,
review.
Okay, it's okay. Everyone, if you see the paragraph that we write in review, what do we write? In audit, what do we write? We hereby express our opinion to the best of our knowledge and information available with us that financial statements of the entity show a true and fair view, blah, 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 blah. But in review, what we write? With the limited examination that we have conducted, nothing has come to our knowledge which indicates that financial statements are materially misstated. Means it's like, in audit, I will tell you, bro, you are very good here. You are very good. In review, I will tell you, yeah, you're not bad. You're not bad. In audit, I will tell you, I agree with you. I agree with you. In review, I will tell you, yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. So in audit, I'm telling you, we hereby express our opinion to the best of our knowledge and information available with us that financial statements are free from material misstatements. That means they're showing a true and fair view. But in review, I'm saying the same thing, but with a very limited assurance. With the limited examination that we have conducted, nothing has come to our knowledge which indicates that financial statements are materially misstated. I want a confirmation. At least you have understood the difference between two statements. Yes or no, sir? Yes, sir. Yeah, come on, thumbs up, you're going to use. Yeah, because in morning, I can't trust your head movements only. Because in head movements, you are like sometimes like this, sometimes like this. Okay, I have not discussed in great details as of now. I have just discussed little English. So in audit, what we provide is a positive assurance. Beta, positive word comes from English grammar, where we say that, yes, we hereby express our opinion that financial statements are free from material misstatements. This is positively you are saying something. In review, we give negative assurance. What is negative assurance? Nothing has come to our knowledge which indicates that financial statements are materially misstated. That means, okay, I will not say you are good, but I will say that you are not bad. Understood this? That is the way of saying it, negative assurance. So we have understood something, that in audit, we have a high level of examination. Whereas in review, we have a moderate level of examination. We have a moderate level of examination. Now, Urvi is typing in the chat box that, sir, why is the requirement of limited review? Beta, because quarterly financial statements, quarterly financials, you can't expect, to be audited, because auditing is a big activity. At the same point of time, before the financial results are announced on the stock exchange, at least a little bit of review needs to be done. So that is why SEBI has put up this requirement of quarterly reviews. All right. Okay. Now, everyone over here, we have finally understood the difference between audit and review. But you know what? I need to quickly show you something from the textbook. If you don't read these 4 or 5 lines, you will not feel confident. Everyone now, please go as per the sequence that I tell you. Don't look here and there. Please come to point number 4 in your textbook, in the introduction part. After the full point 4 gets over, that means after 4.5, you will see one note. You will see one note. We need to read it right now, otherwise we will not feel confident. Difference between audit and review. Arey, crash course thodi chal raha hai. You know, crash course is not going on that we will just do it from the notes. We'll have to read the textbook. All right, look at this. Difference between audit and review. Audit involves reasonable assurance. It means the highest level of assurance, but not a guarantee. Report is provided in the form of positive assurance. Example of positive assurance is, to the best of our knowledge and information available with us, we hereby express our opinion that financial statements of the entity have prepared in all material respects in accordance with whatever are the accounting standards, Schedule 3, applicable financial reporting framework, and they show a true and fair view. This is how we write in auditor. Whereas look at this review. Review involves limited examination and moderate level of assurance. Limited examination and moderate level of assurance. Report is provided in the form of negative assurance. Negative assurance. Example of negative assurance. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the English. Look at the English. Based on our review, nothing has come to our attention that caused. See, we clearly tell them based on our review, and review itself is understood as a moderate examination. Nothing has come to our attention. Nothing has come to our attention. This is the way of saying, negatively saying it, that causes us to believe that the accompanying financial information does not give a true and fair view or does not present fairly in all material respects. All right. So boss, it is saying the same thing, but with limited assurance and in a negative manner. So that is the difference between audit and review. Don't read further. Don't read further. You will face infection in your eyes. Currently, you are eligible only to read these 2 paragraphs. I want a confirmation every single day. Oh, yeah, tell me over here. Have you understood the difference between audit and review? Yes, yes. So besides review, beta, you can just write example. SEBI requires. If you know it, then it is fine. Limited review of quarterly FS. Yeah, Aman, that's a very good doubt. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes, sir.
So Aman has asked in the chat box that, sir, if the auditor himself is doing, just a minute. If the auditor himself is doing the review of the first 3 quarters, can he rely upon those procedures used in the review while he does audit? Yes, in the last quarter when we visit and we perform our annual procedures at audit procedures, at that point of time, whatever we have done in review will always help you. Understood this? So it always helps you. It creates a base for last quarter audit to be done. But you know what? I would have loved to go on with the discussions. But the sad part is that this full SRE, standards on review engagement, is not there in your syllabus. Understood this? You have, that is not that sad part, sir. That is good part. That is happy part. As a student, you may feel happy. But SRE is important to understand quarterly reviews of listed entities, but it is not there in your syllabus. I just wanted to explain the difference between audit and review, because in the introduction part, they have explained the difference between audit and review. We are continuously focusing on what is given by the ICAI in your syllabus. Okay. SAE, standards on assurance engagement. We are now moving ahead with our discussion. In life, there is something called as balancing figure. There are 3 standards in this category. And all 3 standards deal with different types of assurance engagements. Beta, what do you understand by assurance engagement? Some kind of data will be given to you. On that data, you will conduct some procedures and you will express your opinion upon which people are going to rely. But sir, please tell us exactly how you told us in earlier categories that SAE deals with what? SAE is just in Hindi, SAE. Boss, other assurance engagements, write down. There are 3 assignments and all 3 dealing with different activities. There are 3 assignments, 3 standards, all 3 standards dealing with different assignments. So I cannot give you one uniform explanation for this category. Even institute has said other assurance engagements. So don't worry beyond that part. SRS category. Now look at this, standards on related services. There are 2 standards in this category, standards on related services. And in both the standards, there is no assurance activity. Are you hearing the English? In both the standards, there is no assurance activity. What do you understand by assurance activity? You will be given the data, you will examine that data, express an opinion. Such kind of assignments are not over here. I need to explain you with more examples. Let us say you are a practicing chartered accountant and I appointed you to just do some analysis of my trade receivables, of my debtors, trade receivables and stuff. And please do some analysis and please segregate the data. Please sort the data. Tell me the trade receivables up to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, more than 6 months. I have appointed you to provide some related services. That means your client wants you to do something which is not an assurance activity. Tell me, your client wants you to do something which is not an assurance activity. These activities could involve preparing some limited certificates, or let us say preparing some kind of summary accounts for the client, preparing some kind of data for the client. Are you clear with this? Yes or no, sir? So that is why this category is famously called as AUP with the client. AUP means agreed upon procedures. AUP means agreed upon procedures. Example, some kind of data preparation, limited certification work, etc. Some kind of data preparation, some kind of limited certification work, etc. This is famously called as AUP with the client. But students, the biggest thing that you need to understand is that under SRS category, everyone over here, under SRS category, there is no assurance activity. Can you please put an asterisk mark and write down? There is no assurance activity. There is no assurance activity. Come on, stay connected. Stay connected. No assurance activity. All right. Students, can you please write down one more thing? Otherwise, you will forget. Audit and review difference. Please put a common bracket to these 2 things. Have you written this? Deals with audit of FS, deals with review of FS. Then please put a common bracket and write down what is the difference. And for this, you will refer textbook. I don't want any shortcuts in your life for this. You will refer textbook. Point number 4 ka note. Write with reference. Whenever you write in your notes, whenever you write refer textbook, you should always write with reference. Point number 4, below point number 4, there is one note. What is the difference between audit and review? This could be a theory MCQ, or this could be 1, 2 to 3 marks question, difference between audit and review. All right. Students, there is one more note. There is one more note. Come to that same page and look at this. SRS category, no assurance. SRS category, standards on related services, no assurance. SRS services do not involve any assurance activity, and hence no opinion is expressed under such standards. No opinion is expressed under such standards. All right. Students, now some technical details. So SQC, SA, SRE, SRS, SA. There are 38 essays, but you have 35 essays in your syllabus. Final CA syllabus they have cut down. From which attempt they did this? November 19 attempt they did this. There are 38 essays actually, but you have 35 essays in your syllabus. Okay. Standards on review engagement, there are 2 standards. So total how many? 38 plus 2, 39, 42, 44, 45, 46. As you see, I'm bad with figures. Okay. So 46 standards, but you have 35 essays plus 1 SQC in your syllabus. Your syllabus is 35 essays plus 1 SQC. Yeah. Ankit, you are typing it in the chat box, sir. SRS covers other related services provided by the auditor. That's a very sensitive area. When auditor is providing other services to the same entity, we need to think about various restrictions which are there in Companies Act, which are there in Chartered Accountants Act, because auditors are not allowed to provide too many other services to the same company. So that is why in SRS category, as of now, you just think that you are a practicing chartered accountant and you have been given some other, and you have been given some activities where you don't have to express any assurance. You don't have to express any opinion. When an auditor is given other services, that's a huge discussion at final CA level that we will be discussing at later stages. All right. Students, don't let the tempo go down. Please finish off point number 4 from the textbook. Come on, everyone. Point number 4 from the textbook. If we don't understand textbook, there is no use of these lectures. Look at this. Point number 4. Engagement, because textbook is based upon the institute's book. Engagement and quality control standards. Classification. 4.1 SQC. SQC established for maintenance of a system of quality control in the audit firms as well as even for sole practitioners. Maintenance of a system of quality control. Please highlight this. How many standards under this category? 1. What are the slots allotted? What is this slots allotted? That is international numbering system. So UK, US, India, all of us, we have these numbering systems. Basically, we follow the numbering systems which is given by International Federation of Accountants. Understood this? So these same categories are created by International Federation of Accountants. So what you see SQC over here at international level, it is called as ISQC, International Standard on Quality Control. What you see SA over here at international level, it is called as ISA, International Standard Auditing. Same numbers are used. Even same numbers are used. Understood this? So what they have done is, what they have done is, for all of these categories, they have given numbering slots. SQC has been given like from till 0 to 99. Then SA has been given to 100 from 100 to 900 series, and accordingly it goes on. So last is SRS 4410. You need not write this. I'm just doing this working over here so that you understand. These numbers, they just provide flexibility so that in future they don't have to change the sequence and stuff. Look at this. SQC ka slot is this. Standards on auditing is used for audit of historical financial information. Historical financial information. Why they say this historical financial information? If the client has prepared projected financial statements, which they do normally for when they come up with IPO, FPO, when they come up with issue of their securities, when they issue prospectus, at that point of time, companies prepare future financial statements, projected financial information. That if you are given audit of that projected financial information, that is not covered over here. That is why they are saying audit of historical financial information, means the financial year for which the financial statements are prepared. Look at this. That means the normal audit that we do. How many standards under this category? 38. Slots allotted 100 to 900 series, and every series has some description. This you will not understand now. Once I'm done with all the standards, then you will understand, okay, what is the logic behind these numbers. This I've just printed for you to be read later on. 4.3, standards on review engagement, review of historical financial information. How many standards under this category? 2. Slots allotted 2. Yes, this SRE, these slots. But there are only 2 standards. Standards on assurance engagement. Look at this. How they have defined assurance engagements. Dealing with subject matters other than historical financial information. That is why I made you write in the notes other assurance engagements. How many standards under this category? 3, but all 3 dealing with different activities. Next, standards on related services. Issued for, highlight this, agreed upon procedures. What is this compilation engagements? When you are appointed to prepare summaries, consolidation, when you are preparing summaries, consolidation, etc. When you are appointed to prepare summaries, consolidation, etc. Compilation engagements and other related services. That is why I made you write AUP with the client, agreed upon procedures with the client. How many standards under this category? 2, and slots allotted are these. I hope everyone is through with this over here. Yes? Okay. Little boring content, but it's okay. You will now get a lot of interesting content. So students, please come to point number 5. Authority attached to the documents issued by the ICAI. But before that, obviously, I will do some working in the notes. Let us talk about applicability of standards on auditing. What is the applicability of standards on auditing? Standards on auditing is our syllabus, so we need to understand that standards on auditing deals with audit of financial statements. But my question to you is, and everyone will type it in the chat box, yes or no, first understand the question. My question to you is that some partnership firm has appointed me as their auditor to conduct audit of their financial statements. This is a voluntary audit. Voluntary audit. They want to voluntarily get their accounts audited from me. There is no requirement under any act. They just want to voluntarily get their accounts audited so that they can apply for bank loan and they can get some investments. Do you think that in such kind of small voluntary audit of financial statements, I need to follow standards in auditing? Please type Y for yes, N for no. All right. I'm so happy with your response. Everyone is saying yes. Now comes the next question. What makes you say yes? Where is it written? Anyone would like to answer? Raise their hand. Where is it written that I need to follow standards auditing for such small accounts, for such small entities also? Anyone would like to raise their hand over here and reply? कहाँ लिखा किधर है? Sir, come on, sir. Standards on auditing, sir. Institute has issued, sir. Institute is our father, sir. Okay. So everyone over here, please. Yeah. Yes, Chirag.
So it is mandatory as for the preface of.
Oh my God! Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Wow, very good, Chirag. Wherever you have studied, at your inter level, it's very good. Okay. Everyone over here. When we talk about applicability of standards on auditing, please understand. If you are conducting audit of financial statements of companies, yes, very good. I got multiple responses in the chat box also saying the same thing. Very good. Audit of financial statements of companies. Then in that case, under section 143, subsection 9 and subsection 10 of Companies Act 2013, there itself it is written that it is mandatory to follow these essays. So this issue is sorted. If they ask you question about applicability of standards in case of companies, everyone knows that because of these sections, we need to follow it. However, my question is that if they ask you about audit of financial statements of any other entity, whether it is a statutory audit or voluntary audit does not matter. Whether it is a statutory audit or voluntary audit does not matter. We need to follow essays member of the institute, you can start writing notes. Member of the institute must follow essays. I'll give the reason also. Can you just write down this much? Applicability of standards in auditing. On one side, please write down audit of FS of companies. This is the non-negotiable. An audit of financial statement of companies. Keep writing, keep writing. Otherwise, you will sleep. Down arrow. Section 143, subsection 9 and subsection 10 of Companies Act 2013. Down arrow. Mandatory to follow essays. Mandatory to follow essays. It is given under these subsections only, 143, subsection 9 and subsection 10. So for that, you don't need to search any other material. On the other side, audit of FS of any other entity, whether it is statutory or voluntary. Down arrow. Member of the institute must follow essays. Come on. Because as per preface to the auditing pronouncements. Preface to the auditing pronouncements. Down arrow. Mandatory to follow essays irrespective. Mandatory to follow essays irrespective of size and nature of the entity. Mandatory to follow essays irrespective of size and nature of the entity. That is why if you remember, if you remember your auditing definition as by what you studied at inter-C level, auditing is an independent examination of financial information of an entity, whether profit oriented or not, irrespective of its size or legal form. When such an examination is conducted with a view to express an opinion, where is this definition given? This definition was given under auditing pronouncements because they were trying to explain that irrespective of its size or legal form, whether profit oriented or not, that means whichever be the entity, you are going to follow standards on auditing. All right. Yes, sir. Okay. Students, that is fine. Up till here, I'm very confident on you. We need to now discuss the applicability of statements and guidance notes. Sometimes you may have heard this from your partners or seniors that there is a statement on this matter or there is a guidance note on this matter. We need to today clear our understanding that whatever the ICAI has issued in a statement, whenever they say that they have issued a statement, is it mandatory? Whenever they say that they have issued a guidance note, is it mandatory? We need to understand that. Okay. So students, please focus first on the working. If I just want to write in one word, which is very much famous nowadays on if you want to have a good YouTube base, explain in one word, short, marathon lectures. I'm to getting mad looking at YouTube nowadays. I think then after a few years, they will say that in one page, I will teach you audit. Come on. Okay. So statements, whenever we use the word statements, whenever institute issues statements, remember it is mandatory. No if, no but, no questions asked. It is mandatory. Everyone has to follow it. Whenever they issue guidance notes, I will just use one line. It is recommendatory unless otherwise specified. In the first page of the guidance note, that is the preface. In preface, if they say that this guidance note is mandatory, then it is fine. Otherwise, guidance notes are supposed to be recommendatory unless otherwise specified. Come on, tell me, come with me. Guidance notes are supposed to be recommendatory unless otherwise specified. Yeah, Aman, I'll come to that point. I'm just creating the base as of now. Everyone over here. So this is one line explanation. But if you see in the textbook, everyone please look at the textbook. Look at the textbook. Page number 6, 5.1. Look at so much of content given under the word statements. Look at 5.2. So much of content given under the word guidance notes. So I hope you understand that one-liner explanations will not work over here. And that is the reason that you have joined a regular course. So everyone please focus over here. Everyone will focus over here now. We need to get into the depth. Now, institute issues two types of statements. Sometimes they issue statements on accounting matters. Sometimes they issue statements on auditing matters. Oh, come on, man. Tell me the correct English. For statements on accounting matters, whatever institute has issued, if they've issued a statement on, let us say, accounting for shareholders' funds, let us say, for example, then whatever accounting treatment they have given under that, whatever disclosures they have given under that, can I say that these accounting treatments are supposed to be followed by the management? Yes or no, sir? Yes, sir. Auditor will check whether it has been followed or not. What some students do in paper is, some students, when they are writing paper in absent mind, they say that, don't write this, huh? They say that auditor should follow such statement. Statement on accounting matter, management will follow the statement and auditor will check whether it has been followed or not. Understood this? So for statement on accounting matters, management must comply with such statements. Can you just come up till here? For statements mandatory you had written, please divide into two: statements on accounting matters, statements auditing matters. Similarly, for guidance notes also we will divide into two. Huh? So you understand the space that you're supposed to keep. Statement on accounting matter, statement on auditing matter. Okay, for statement on accounting matter, everyone with me now? Yes? Okay. Management must comply with such statements and auditor should check whether it has been complied or not. Auditor should check whether it has been complied or not. Naturally, if management has not complied with statements on accounting matters, then auditor is expected at least to highlight it in his report. How he will write it, what he will write it, that I will teach you when I discuss audit report with you. But at least basics everyone understands that if management is not following the statements, then we expect auditor to at least highlight it in his report. All right. So auditor should highlight any non-compliance with such statements. Non-compliance with such statements. Auditor should highlight any non-compliance with such statements. I am currently just talking about statements on accounting matters. One more time. Statement on accounting matters, management must comply with such statements and auditor should check whether it has been complied or not. Then auditor should highlight any non-compliance with such statements. I will be going slow in the first couple or 3 lectures so that you are completely warmed up, and then later on I can catch some speed. Okay. Now, statement on auditing matters. Statement on auditing matters. If institute has issued statement on any auditing matter, then auditor must, without any question, follow that statement. Down arrow. Auditor must comply with such statements. And let us say if you were not able to follow what was given in the statement, for example, let us say if at all there is a statement on cash verification or inventory verification, and if you are not able to follow what was given in that statement because of some unavoidable reasons, whatever it is, any kind of departure, what do you understand by departure? Means you did something different, correct? Or any kind of non-compliance means you completely violated it. Whatever you have done, if it is something different from what is given in the statement, or if you have violated it, you are at least expected to disclose it in the report. Of course, there will be inquiries on you. There will be official inquiries on you that why you did not follow the statement. But at least you need to highlight it in the report. You can't keep on hiding that fact. Am I clear with this? Yes? Okay. So, down arrow, any departure or non-compliance. What do you understand by departure? Sir, when the flight takes off, departure means when you do something different than what is given in that statement. You may not have violated, you may have achieved the purpose, but you did things differently. You achieved the purpose, but you did things differently. So any departure / non-compliance must be highlighted in the report. Must be disclosed in the report, must be highlighted in the report. But yes, if you don't follow statements, there can be, consequences over here. Statements on auditing matters, auditor must comply with such statements. Any departure or non-compliance must be highlighted in the report. All right. So everyone has now clearly understood the applicability of statements. Now let us talk about guidance notes. Guidance notes, we say recommendatory unless otherwise specified. Now students, please divide into 2. Guidance note on accounting matters, guidance note on auditing matters. Now let me tell you one thing, that what are the areas where guidance notes are issued? Which are those areas? Everyone remembers company audit, at least few points. Section 143, subsection 12, duty to report fraud to the central government. Auditor is under a duty to report fraud to the central government, amount involving 1 crore or more. You remember that? All those provisions, you were in deep love with those provisions. But what if fraud is committed by some third party? What if fraud is committed by employees or officers of the branches? What if individually the amount of fraud is less than 1 crore, but combined amount of fraud is more than 1 crore? Then what to do? There are so many controversies in that particular section. So whenever Companies Act or taxation, when they come out with some sections, but it is very difficult to apply those sections in practical life. That is when institute comes out with a guidance note saying that, okay, these are the examples, you need to follow it in this manner. The language of guidance note itself is like a recommendatory nature, because there are lots of examples in it, that if this happens, then you follow this. If that happens, then you follow this. So that is why in guidance note, it is very much possible that in some points, we members of the institute, we disagree with the institute, or there are some situations where we feel that, okay, what is given in the guidance note may not be followed. I need to do something different over here. Because please understand, guidance notes are given on such areas which are already controversial, where there are too many ifs and buts involved. In that case, it is possible that member of the institute may follow his own judgment. That is why guidance notes most of the times are kept recommendatory. Beta, let me tell you, recommendatory does not mean optional. Generally, in ordinary situations, we are expected to follow the guidance note. Only in exceptional circumstances, we may follow our own judgment. Let me be very clear over here. So for guidance note on auditing matters, down arrow, please write down. Generally, auditor is expected to follow the guidelines unless there are exceptional situations to follow his own judgment. Please write down. Generally, auditor is expected to follow the guidelines unless there are exceptional situations to follow his own judgment. Generally, auditor is expected to follow the guidelines unless there are exceptional situations to follow his own judgment. And you should have reasons, You should have reasons why you followed your own judgment. You should maintain documentation of those reasons. In future, institute may question this to you, that why you have followed your own judgment. You should have reasons to satisfy them. Similarly goes for guidance note on accounting matters. Management is expected to follow such guidelines unless they have their own judgments. Understood? Unless there are exceptional situations. Here I will write the same line, but from the angle of management. So down arrow. Management is expected to follow the guidelines unless there are exceptional situations which may require their own judgment. So management is expected to follow the guidelines unless there are exceptional situations which may require their own judgment. All right. Sir, now if we don't read textbook, it is fine. You gave one full page note, sir. No, we need to read the textbook. Everyone, you can't be lazy over here. Okay. Point number 5, look at this. Authority attached to the documents issued by the ICAI. Everyone over here, 5.1 statements. Look at this. The statements have been issued with a view to securing compliance by members on matters. Statements. Look at this. Statements have been issued with a view to securing compliance by members. Highlight that, compliance by members on matters which, in opinion of the council of the institute, but a council is the decision-making body of the institute, are critical for the proper discharge of their functions. Statements, therefore, are mandatory. Yes, sir. Okay. Accordingly, while discharging their attest function, students, you will keep on finding this language, attest function, because whenever we sign on a document, we express opinion. Basically, these are attest functions. Understood this? So you will keep on seeing this word attest function. So don't get disturbed by that word. Accordingly, while discharging their attest functions, it is the duty of the members of the institute. For accounting matters, accounting statements, statement on accounting matters, management will follow, auditor will check. Look at this. To examine, circle please, to examine whether statements relating to accounting matters are complied with in presentation of financial statements. If management does not follow what is given in the statement, I need to highlight it in the report. Look at this. In the event of any deviation from such statements, means management is not following the statements, it is their duty to make adequate disclosures in their audit report so that users of financial statement may be aware of such deviations. Next, auditing matters. Statements on auditing matters. Auditing matter statement, auditor needs to follow. Look at this. To ensure that, see how English changes, to ensure that statement relating to auditing matters are followed in the audit of financial information covered by their audit report. If for any reason, due to any reason, if you were not able to follow what was given in the statement, a member has not been able to perform an audit in accordance with such statements, his report should draw attention to the material departures therefrom. If auditor has performed something different than what was given in the statement, you need to highlight those departures. I want a confirmation for statements. Everyone for statements. Statements discussion is over. Is everyone through with the word statements? Yes. Yes. Okay. So whenever you have problems, you can raise hand. What is the mode of issuing these statements or guidance notes? Where can we find these statements? I'll be discussing in next 15 minutes or so procedure for issuing essays, statements, guidance notes and stuff. You can find it on AASB website. You can find it under the publications of the ICAI, members announcements. You can find it at various, on various platforms of the institute portal, which is for the members. Okay. 5.2 guidance notes. Everyone over here. Guidance notes are primarily designed to provide guidance to the members on matters which may arise in the course of their professional work and on which they may desire assistance. Look at the English. In guidance notes, the questions, the matters are such that where you may need lots of examples, assistance from the institute for resolving issues which may pose difficulty. Guidance notes are recommendatory in nature. Please write down unless otherwise specified. I've written this in the last point, unless otherwise specified. Oh, Aman, still you need to highlight it. Next, auditing matter. A member should guidance notes on auditing matters. Guidance notes on auditing matters. A member should ordinarily follow. Ordinarily, please highlight. Means normally you are expected to follow recommendations in a guidance note relating to an auditing matter, except where he is satisfied that in the circumstances of the case, it may not be necessary to do so. So there is still little bit of exception given in guidance note that, okay, you may follow your own judgment in exceptional circumstances. That though, when we'll be discussing few guidance notes, you will realize that. Accounting matter. A member should examine. So whatever guidance note is there on accounting matter, whether management has followed it or not, whether the recommendations in a guidance note relating to an accounting matter have been followed or not. If the same have not been followed, let us say if management is not following what is given under the guidance note. Students. When I was talking about statements on accounting matters, I clearly told you that if management is not following the statements, we will highlight it in the report. I clearly told you. But let us say in case of guidance note on accounting matters, if management does not follow something and they follow their own judgment, do we need to necessarily put this in the audit report? Because guidance notes are technically recommendatory in nature, Okay, so look at this. The member should consider whether, keeping in view of the circumstances of the case, a disclosure in his report is necessary. Mark these 2 lines for MCQ. Because now I have spent enough time with the institute's recent papers and I've understood that they are actually digging out some controversies and asking MCQs from there, the lines which students may miss out. Please understand, I may give you a case study where I will say that guidance note has been issued on X matter. Management has not followed the guidance note because they have good, valid reasons to follow their own judgment. Option A, auditor must highlight such fact in his report. Option B, auditor may highlight such fact in his report. Option C, it depends upon the circumstances of the case whether we need to highlight this fact in the report or not. Tell me, option A, B or C? Option A, B or C? Of course, option C over here. Please be careful. So if management is not following guidance note, we will have to analyze that. Do you really think that the disclosure is necessary in the report? Let me go 1 or 2 lectures more into this, and you will realize that such practical cases will start coming in front of you. But for those cases to understand, you need to be clear with these concepts. All right. So students, idhar dekho. Guidance note on accounting matters. Management is expected to follow the guidelines unless there are exceptional situations. Can you write with the red ink over here? Auditor may word you will circle. Highlight such departures. Auditor may highlight such departure means management is following their own judgment and not following what is given in the guidance note. Depending upon the circumstances. Auditor may highlight such departures in his report depending upon the circumstances. Auditor may highlight such departures in his report depending upon the circumstances. So, that is why you should always read the text, because the text will take you in a proper flow. I will keep on making you write stuff because, otherwise you will doze off. When you are writing, you are very clear about what you are doing. And when you, after writing, if you read it also, then you are completely clear about what is happening over there. Okay. Now, so we are done with the statements. We are also done with guidance notes. This last line I have already taught you. There are, however, a few guidance notes where they will clearly say that, okay, this is mandatory. So there are some, points that need to be followed. Then you will have to follow that guidance note just like a statement. Okay. Now we are very clear about applicability of essays, about applicability of statements, about applicability of guidance notes. We are very clear about this. Okay. Students, this 6th point, applicability of accounting standards and Ind AS. Please, it is my request that you have to revise this from your FR paper. They can ask, as I told you, as and when I teach the syllabus, I will also tell you what questions from FR they can ask in audit paper. So accounting standards and Ind AS applicability, you have to revise your FR paper. In fact, for accounting standards applicability, you may have to go to inter-CA accounting standards also. But please ensure that you know the applicability of AS and Ind AS. Okay. 7th point, applicability of standards on auditing, which we have already discussed in the notes. Here you can write down notes. Let us just read very quickly. They become operative in respect of audit of all enterprises. Essays are applicable audit of all enterprises on the date specified in respective essays. Every essay has a specified date, for 1st April 2007, 1st April 2008. So from that date, it becomes mandatory when it is notified by the council. The essays apply whenever an independent audit is carried out. That is in the independent examination of financial information of any entity, whether profit oriented or not, irrespective of its size or legal form, unless such unless specified otherwise. When such an examination is conducted with a view to express an opinion thereon. If some law tells you that don't follow the standards and follow what we are telling you, then you may have to follow it. For example, in some special assignments like audit of government entities, Comptroller and Auditor General of India may give you a completely different checklist to be followed. Then you will have to follow that. Okay. Law will always override standards. Huh? Hello? Law will always override standards. So if there is any controversy between law and essays, then law will be held higher. If for any reason a member has not been able to perform an audit in accordance with essays, his report should draw attention to the material departures. Arey beta, let me tell you what they are trying to say over here. Essay 501 deals with audit evidence for audit of inventory, stock audit that we do at year end. Just telling you in short, telling you in short. Now, Essay 501 expects the auditor to attend the inventory counting, which is done at the year end. But because of COVID situation, because of lockdown and stuff, 2020 when it began, right? 25th March, 26th March and stuff. Then at that point of time, many auditors were not able to follow the standard auditing practices of actually visiting the godowns and counting the stock, means management counting, you observing, all that was not able, they were not able to follow it. Then in that case, what auditors did, some auditors did it through video conferencing. Some auditors, when they were not able to reach, they sent some another practicing CA who was local over there to go and count. Understood this? Some auditors postponed the activity. So let whatever different you have done, means departures. I'm trying to explain the word departures. Whatever different you did than what was given under standards, you are always expected to highlight that. Am I clear with this? Yes or no, sir? Hello? Yes, sir. How you will highlight, under which paragraph of audit report you will write, all that we will discuss later. Okay. Sir, whether auditor needs to highlight that we have not followed this guidance on auditing matters, that will depend if you want to highlight it based upon your judgment. There is no such compulsion, because when I say guidance note, it is recommendatory. So if you have followed your exception, your own understanding, not compulsory that you must highlight it. Right? Okay. 7.4, compliance of essays is a mandatory requirement as per Companies Act. And if you don't follow standards on auditing, then in that case, you can be held guilty under Chartered Accountants Act 1949. You may lose your degree also. But these things I will discuss when I actually start the discussion of Chartered Accountants Act 1949. So over here, please write down professional ethics chapter. I am going to discuss this. All right. Sometimes what happens in exams, you go with such nice preparation and they ask you some really stupid theory questions like this. Sometimes you just get, like completely turned off. What is this, man? I came over here with so much of enthusiasm to write such difficult case studies, and they ask you a 3 marks, 4 marks theory question like this. Please explain the procedure for issuing essays. How an essay comes into existence. Wow. Students, focus over here. In future, if you want to apply for a job in Auditing and Assurance Standard Board, then you may need to know this process. So what happens is that first, auditing, how does an essay come into picture? So first, Auditing and Assurance Standard Board, they do some survey that in which areas standards on auditing are required. They will identify these areas that, okay, over here standards on auditing are required. Then they will start formulating the standards. In drafting the standards, they may take help from various study groups. What are study groups? Basically, chartered accountants from job industry, chartered accountants from practice industry, not only chartered accountants, some people of industry who may have a lot of knowledge in that particular area. So they will form one study group. That study group will help Auditing and Assurance Standard Board in drafting the essay. Then once the draft and stuff is ready, then they will put out, on the public platform to get the comments. That is why many times on institute's website, you will see this exposure draft. What is exposure draft? That means this is still under draft stage. We need your comments. So all the members of the institute will download that PDF and will give their comments and stuff. And after incorporating those comments, if at all it is worthy to be incorporated, Auditing and Assurance Standard Board will create one final draft. That final draft will be tabled on the institute's council's table. Who is council? Council is the highest decision-making authority. They will sign, stamp on it, they will notify, and then that standard on auditing is issued and it becomes mandatory. Am I clear with this? Yes or no, sir? Yes, sir. This is the whole flow. So look at the flow. Look at the flow. Because they have given this in the first chapter of the module. They may ask this. Look at this. AASB determines the broad areas. So first they will determine the broad area where essay is required, in which essays need to be formulated, and they will prioritize it. Okay. Then they will be assisted by study groups constituted to consider specific subjects. In formation of study groups, provision is made for a participation of cross-section of members of the institute. What is cross-section? Members from practice industry, members from job industry, Members from dosa industry. No, joking. Okay. Next, on the basis of the work of study groups, exposure draft of the proposed essay is prepared by the committee and issued for comments by members of the institute. So this you will see on ICS website. You will see exposure drafts being issued. Currently, there are multiple exposure drafts which have been circulated. So I would expect you to clear your exams ASAP, because you will keep on getting new standards otherwise. Okay. Next. So comment, all the members are going to comment that, okay, you're looking pretty and stuff. No. Comments on the standards. The draft of the proposed essay is then finalized. So after the comments are received, the draft is finalized and submitted to the council of the institute. Council of the institute. Slowly, steadily, council elections are also turning out to be normal political elections only. How many articles have been asked to do the promotion work for their partners? Anyone? No one is looking at you, don't worry. Anyone doing promotion work for their partners? No? Oh my God. No one is raising hand, all maintaining confidentiality. Your partners can be held guilty under Chartered Accountants Act 1949 if they ask you to do the promotion work. I'll tell you about that later on. So AAASB will finalize the draft and put it on the table of the council, and then council will consider the final draft. If it wants, it will modify the same in consultation with AASB, and then finally essay is issued under the authority of the council. Highlight this: authority of the council. Students, why I'm asking you to highlight it? Because for theory knowledge also it is very important, and for practical knowledge also. Any standard on auditing, it is drafted by AASB. The final draft also, it is prepared by AASB, but it is issued under the authority of the council. AASB, Auditing and Assurance Standard Board, does not have the authority to issue standards. Standards are issued under the authority of the council. Yes, Gaurav. I hope everyone is through with this. Yes. I really like this attitude from Gaurav. He says that he needs to go for office and hence leaving. Thanks, sir. So if at all you need to reach office early, if that is the problem, of course, I can't start at 5 a.m. also. So what you can do is you can leave the lecture at a particular time. Now, this is perfect time for Gaurav to leave. All right. So others stay connected. Bye-bye. So Gaurav, if you are still there or if you've left, whatever it is, but ensure that in the evening you cover up the balance lecture. Don't keep backlogs. Please don't keep backlogs. My request, please. Okay. And the students who don't trust their own discipline, continue with me. Everyone, point number 3, procedure for issuing essays. I hope you are done with this. Point number 2. These are a couple of points that I'm doing which can just turn you off an exam. Look at this. Point number 2. Scope and function of AASB. Scope and function of Auditing and Assurance Standard Board. What will be their scope and function? They are going to arrange Navaratri for Gujaratis or what? No. What will be their scope and function? Who is going to arrange Navaratri now here? Okay, everyone over here. First, Auditing and Assurance Standard Board, what they are going to do? Standards, guidance note, statements. They will formulate this, they will draft this, they will keep on updating this, they will have a watch over international auditing practices, and according to the Indian customs, Indian laws, they will draft standards. What else they are going to do, man? Look at this. To review the existing auditing practices in India and develop, just highlight one word: develop, statements on standards on auditing, so that these may be issued by the council of the institute. Just highlight one word: develop. Next, while formulating the essays, the AASB takes into consideration, highlight this, takes into consideration ISAs. ISAs are nothing but International Standards on Auditing, which were once issued by IAPC. IAPC is International Auditing Practices Committee. Once the students are hungry, you can say anything, they will say yes to everything. All right. What happens is that in the first hour, you are sleepy. In the last hour, you are hungry. So I get only 1 golden hour in between to teach. Okay. Applicable. So according to Indian practices, they will mold the international standards and they will draft it. The essays are issued under authority of the council of the institute. That is fine. AASB also issues guidance notes on issues arising from essays. Then AASB has also been entrusted to review, highlight this, to review the essays at periodical intervals. I would say just remember 3 words: develop, formulate, review. Tell me, develop, formulate, review. So they will develop standards, they will develop guidance note, they will formulate standards, they will formulate guidance notes, they will review standards, guidance notes, and they will keep on updating it. So they will develop, they will formulate, they will review. Come on, tell me. They will develop, they will formulate, they will review. They will develop, they will formulate, they will review. What? Standards, guidance notes, and stuff. Students, in such kind of questions, you are expected to show a little bit of your BCom talent, commerce talent, and extend the answers. All right. Okay. So point number 2, point number 3, we are done with this. These points were also done. 1.2 and 1.3, please read. 1.2, 1.3, I've already taught you orally that IFAC is something called as international body. Look at this. IFAC full form is already written over there, International Federation of Accountants, in the above paragraphs. IFAC developed IAASB. IAASB issues international auditing and assurance standards. All of this has been explained. But when I did not read this theory part earlier because you would have felt asleep. So I taught all conceptual points. Now, since you are little awake, I'm taking up this theory part. IAASB functions as an independent standard setting body under IFAC. That diagram only I have made it in such a manner that you will not have a problem. This initial diagram which I have made. This one. Okay. ICAI, highlight this. Already I have highlighted. ICAI is a member of IFAC. So the ICAI is a member of International Federation of Accountants. And it is committed towards working towards the implementation of guidelines issued by IFAC. Yes. And the council members of the institute are busy in tweeting the results date. Kya karte rehte hain? All right. Students, if you see now with confidence, first 7 points we are done with. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Everyone? Yes, up till here? Yeah. Now, I am going to take you to a different level. Please come to this basic concept to learn essays. That means if you don't know these concepts, we cannot start reading pronouncements. We cannot just start reading pronouncements. And when you learn these concepts, you will also be covering some examination questions. So basic concept to learn essays. Everyone, please take a fresh page in your notebook and give this heading: supporting notes for essay basics. Supporting notes for essay basics. All right. First point. The very first concept that we are going to study is, as you can see over here, applicable financial reporting framework. I need to post-mortem this word today. Applicable financial reporting framework. And if you think that we are going to just discuss one-liner meaning, then you're wrong. AFRF, applicable financial reporting framework. All right. But first, of course, I will discuss with a very simple explanation. I will start with a very simple explanation. What is applicable financial reporting framework? The guideline based upon which any entity has to prepare their financial statements. So if you see Companies Act, what is the applicable financial reporting framework for companies? Schedule 3 plus accounting standards or Ind AS. What is the applicable financial reporting framework for banking companies? accounting standards or Ind AS along with the banking financial statements format. Understood this? What is the applicable financial reporting framework for insurance companies? Accounting standards, Ind AS along with the insurance company final accounts format. So students, applicable financial reporting framework is nothing but the guideline, down arrow करके लिखो, guideline based upon which entity prepares and presents the financial statements. Guideline based upon which entity prepares and presents the financial statements. Now, student, I need to understand something from you over here. Do you know that there are two types of financial statements? One is GPFS, General Purpose Financial Statements. Another one is SPFS, Special Purpose Financial Statements. GPFS, SPFS. GP stands for General Purpose. Keep writing, otherwise you will sleep. SP stands for Special Purpose. Students who keep their cameras off, I can't guarantee what you're doing, I don't know. Correct? So I'm not saying that compulsory please switch on your camera, otherwise you will say that this person is anti-constitutional, does not give us right to privacy and stuff, whatever it is, because nowadays you can, because of social media, you can start saying anything nowadays. So it's okay, you keep your cameras off, but I don't take your guarantee, boss. Okay. But students who are keeping their cameras on, they are my real children. So GPFS, General Purpose Financial Statements, SPFS, Special Purpose. Now focus over here. If I am preparing a financial statement specifically to give it to the bank so that bank will sanction the loan. So bank has given me one specific format. They've said that please prepare financial statements in this specific format and please ensure that you give these disclosures so that we can analyze your balance sheet and P&L properly. So I am preparing a separate set of accounts just for that particular bank to satisfy them. That is nothing but what? Special purpose financial statements. So what is special purpose financial statements? Down arrow, please write down. Financial statements prepared to serve, FS prepared to serve. Now some strict English. Financial statements prepared to serve. Everyone with a different ink if possible. Whatever you have stolen from your client, please. To serve specific information needs. The biggest loss of articles was that they were not able to steal stationery during lockdown. The financial statements prepared to serve specific information needs of the intended users of financial statements. So, sir, that means just tell us in simple language, no, that financial statements prepared for some specific people to, a special set, prepare for some specific people. But this simple language, that is responsible for your failure. Only once or twice I can use simple language. I can't take whole lecture in simple language. Otherwise, you will never write module language. Understood this? So, financial statements prepared to serve, bolo, specific information needs of the intended users of financial statements. Specific information needs of the intended users of financial statements. Okay. General purpose financial statements, what you actually do in your accounts paper. That schedule 3, consolidation, whatever you are doing. Can I say it is being prepared for all the users in common? It is being prepared for all the users in common. Yes or no, sir? Yes, sir. So down arrow, please write down. Financial normal income. Financial statements prepared to serve common information needs of the users of financial statements. So all the users, basically, majority of the users of financial statements. Financial statements prepared to serve common information needs of the users of financial statements. All right. Students, in your syllabus, you have audit of GPFS. Let me be more specific now. Audit of financial statements is still a broader explanation. Audit of GPFS, now I told you exactly what is a syllabus. Because the 35 essays that you are going to study, all of them deal with audit of GPFS. Audit of general purpose financial statements. So in accounts, you prepare general purpose financial statements. In audit, you are going to audit it. Audit of SPFS, students, please write down over here. Audit of SPFS is discussed in essay 800, which is not there in your syllabus. So from essay 200 to essay 720, you have audit of general purpose financial statements. All right. Now we need to dive deeper. General purpose financial statements that you prepare. The guideline for preparing, I mean the management, that general purpose financial statement that management prepares. The guideline for preparing GPFS can be classified into two parts. Now, if I go on with technical discussions, you will go bonkers over here. I need to have some discussion. Yeah. Filoni.
Yes, sir.
Did I pronounce it properly?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good, sir.
Yeah. So Filoni, tell me something. Whenever this company prepares the accounts, or whenever you are attending accounts lecture, or whether if you have had a word with the management any point of time, your accounts professor keeps on telling you while giving guidance on Schedule 3 and Ind AS, that if you are giving this, if you are giving this accounting treatment, please explain this with a note. Please explain this with a note. Please explain this with a note. So many a times in the financial statements, you end up giving more notes than what is required as per the format. Correct? So what we do is minimum whatever is there in the format, utna to hum log dete. That much, these many notes are given. But additionally, many a times we end up preparing and giving more notes than what is required in the financial statements, so that the examiner understands your answer in a proper manner. Correct?
Yes.
Similarly, in practical life also, for the students who are in audit field, Filoni, are you in audit field?
Yes, sir. I've done basically bank audit.
Whatever it is. But many a times we have a fight with the management where we tell them that please give these notes, please give these notes, please give these notes in your financial statements for students who are into statutory auditing. So many times management says, no. We say, no, please give these notes, please give these notes. Management says, but we have already given the notes which are there in the financial statements. Whatever is required by Schedule 3 and accounting standards, we have already given it. But still we say, no, you give these notes, give these notes. You know why? Because there is something called as fair presentation framework. Yes, very good. What is a fair presentation framework? Where the framework itself requires management that whatever are the minimum disclosures, utna to dena hi dena hai. Additionally, you are also expected, management is also expected to give more notes, more disclosures to make the financial statements more presentable, more understandable. Understood this? And sometimes, Filoni, I'm having a good discussion with you. I'm liking it. Have you studied about this little bit, at least, about events occurring after balance sheet date?
Yes, sir.
So normally we consider the events up to the date of approval of the financial statements. Correct? Now let us say that after the date of approval, that means just after signing, on the next day some event happened, which normally would have been adjusting event, but the signing has been done by the management. But the financial statements are not yet issued to third party. Means the set of financial statement is still lying with the management. Understood this?
Yes.
So will you ask management to do some amendments in the financial statements?
Yes, sir. I think. Actually,
think.
it's a subjective point.
Subjective. Wait, very good. Stop over there. Very good. It's a subjective thing. Some may do it, some may not do it. Understood?
Yes.
Because what we see is that accounting standard takes the date of approval of the financial statements. Exactly. Some may do it to show financial statements in a better manner. Some may not do it because they may also have the intention that let's not disturb the accounts now. Right? Otherwise, it will not, it will mislead the users. Right? So everyone, please understand. What is fair presentation framework? It's a concept that you need to understand. Thank you, Filoni, for wonderful participation. What is fair presentation framework? No one writes anything now. It is a framework prescribed by law or institute, whatever it is, which requires management to comply with the requirements of the framework. See, beta, in Schedule 3 and accounting standards, at least minimum what is expected is that you should follow what is given over there. Understood this? But additionally, plus, here is the concept, plus 2 points. Such framework puts an additional responsibility on the management to provide additional disclosures in the financial statements in order to achieve fair presentation. In order to achieve fair presentation. So the framework says that, hello, management, whatever we have given, that much you need to give. Additionally, you may put some additional disclosures. Go today, download Schedule 3, and you will find these points that the disclosures given by Schedule 3 are minimum disclosures. Additional disclosures can be given based upon the materiality of the circumstances. Am I clear with this? Yes or no, sir? Yes, sir. Why? To make financial statements more presentable. Or in Ind AS, if you have attended the lectures of Ind AS, or even if you have not attended, it is fine. You will find many such areas where you have lots of discussions with the professor. Then professor finally says that, boss, this is subjective. Either management may do it or they may not do it. In Ind AS, there are so many such areas. Like me and Filoni, we were just having a discussion about events occurring after balance sheet date. If Filoni is the management, she may amend the accounts. And if I am the management, I may say no. No, because Ind AS does not provide very clear guidance. What if you find the events after the date of approval? Are you getting my point? Yes. So sometimes you may follow something different than what is given over here. So such framework allows departures. Ind AS, if you read Ind AS, inside Ind AS also there are so many areas where they have said that this may be subjective. So such framework allows departures from the requirements of the framework in exceptional circumstances. To achieve fair presentation, such kind of frameworks are called as fair presentation framework. Yes, Harshit, but do finish off this concept at the end. Such kind of frameworks are called as fair presentation framework. You know what, students? You may see sometimes cooperative society accounts, cooperative society accounts. That is a joke, man, cooperative society accounts. Cooperative society, how they prepare accounts, they will take the registrar of cooperative society, because there are many states which have their own acts. So registrar of the cooperative society, they will prescribe the format, And cooperative society accounts, cooperative society management will prepare the accounts as per that format. Nothing more than that. Nothing more than that. Very simple. What is the format given by the registrar? We will follow that format. That's it. So such kind of frameworks where there is pure compliance and nothing else is called as compliance framework. Beta, what do you understand by compliance framework? Framework prescribed by law which requires compliance with requirements of the framework. That's it. Students, wait, there is a critical discussion that I need to do. Framework prescribed by law which requires compliance with the requirements of the framework. Students, if you please see the English, then fair presentation framework and compliance framework, both of them have first line as the same line. Now I will write examples to understand the difference. Fair presentation framework example is Schedule 3 of Companies Act 2013 plus Ind AS. Whereas compliance framework example is cooperative society accounts. Now, please understand the English, hear me properly. Whether you are preparing company final accounts or whether you are preparing cooperative society accounts, both the accounts have some formats which have been prescribed by their respective law, which needs to be followed. That is common line in both of them. Am I clear with this? Yes or no, sir? Yes. But in company final accounts, Schedule 3 puts an additional responsibility on the management to provide additional disclosures in order to achieve fair presentation. In Ind AS, there are so many areas where things are left up to the judgment of the management. That means there could be departures. Their management may do something different than what is given over there. But it is allowed in exceptional circumstances, not regularly, in exceptional circumstances to achieve fair presentation. So Schedule 3 and Ind AS, both of them require compliance with their requirements. Yes, but they also require additional disclosures. They also understand that in some situations there could be subjectivity and management may apply its own judgment. So Schedule 3 and Ind AS, this combination genuinely ensures what? Fair presentation of the financial statements. I want a confirmation. Everyone is getting me over here? Yes or no, sir? Yes. Whereas beta cooperative society accounts, the format that is prescribed is just to ensure compliance. Whatever we have given, you just give that. But that's it. Thank you. There is no effort put by cooperative society accounts to make the financial statements fairly presentable. So it is just that whatever we have asked, just fill up the format and give it to us. That is compliance framework. Now, why, as an auditor, why it is important for you to understand that whatever accounts you are auditing, whether it is fair presentation framework or compliance framework, beta, because in the audit report, if you are auditing financial statements under fair presentation framework, then when you are writing your opinion, you can use the phrase true and fair view dash 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 or presented fairly dash 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 dash. But my dear friends, when you are auditing financial statements which are prepared under compliance framework, you are not allowed to use the phrase true and fair view. No, no, no. You cannot use the phrase that financial statements are showing a true and fair view. You cannot even use the phrase that financial statements have been presented fairly. Because if you understand, compliance framework never took any effort for fair presentation. Compliance framework never took any effort for fair presentation. Cooperative society accounts are not prepared to ensure that, okay, everyone should understand everything nicely. They are just prepared to ensure compliance with the format which is given by the registrar. So how can I use the word true and fair view? Because fair word was never there in such accounts. How can I say presented fairly? Because fair presentation was never given any importance in such accounts. So we are not allowed to use such phrase. Instead, we say that financial statements are prepared as per the applicable financial reporting framework. So yes, I will say that cooperative society accounts have been prepared as per the requirements of cooperative society law. I will not use the word true and fair view. I will not use the word that they have been presented fairly. I want a confirmation. Are you clear with this? Yes or no, sir? Yes, sir. And what you thought, that auditor writes in his report every time true and fair view? Auditor needs to understand that the entity which is auditing, whether it is fair presentation framework or compliance framework. Now what happens, I will tell you. Everyone just give me 2 minutes. In company, normally whenever articles are discussing everything, no, everyone is doing audit of companies, and company law, company accounts are prepared as per schedule 3 and Ind AS or AS. So in all the company audit reports, you will see this word true and fair view, true and fair view, true and fair view. So slowly and steadily, everyone started thinking that audit report, audit opinion means we must use the word true and fair view. You are wrong. If you see cooperative society accounts audit report, we will not use the word true and fair view, because fair presentation was never given importance unless required by law. Tomorrow, if cooperative society law says that in audit report you should use true and fair view word, then we will use it. Otherwise, normally we don't use the word true and fair view in cooperative society accounts audit report. Am I clear with this? Yes or no, sir? Yes, sir. Okay. So students, a very important note I'm making you write. This is pure proper final CA level. Understood this? So please write this properly. All right. Okay. I hope that you are done with this GPFS, SPFS. GPS, SPFS, this you had written? At least this much? Okay. Then we go ahead. Please leave one line right down. GPFS divide into 2. Leave one line, GPFS divide into 2. Fair presentation framework, compliance framework. Anyone who has not understood this, please raise your hand. I will repeat it today 2 times. But later on, this concept is going to be extremely important. Fair presentation framework, compliance framework. Fair presentation framework, down arrow. Framework prescribed by law, which requires management to comply with the requirements of the framework. I will repeat. Framework prescribed by law. Just write it, you may get more clarity. Framework prescribed by law, which requires management to comply with the requirements of the framework. Just keep schedule 3 Ind AS in your mind when you're writing this. All right. So schedule 3 Ind AS, yes, it requires compliance, but it also says something more. Plus. Then please focus over here for our fair presentation. Then you will divide into 2. Hello. Name this as A, name this as B, and in center you will write OR. So how to identify that yes, this is fair presentation framework? First, it requires minimum disclosures to be given as per the framework. Plus A, such framework puts an additional responsibility on the management. That is exactly what I'm discussing, Srinidhi. Such framework puts an additional responsibility on the management. So any framework which clearly says that management needs to give additional disclosures to ensure fair presentation, that is a fair presentation framework. Such framework puts an additional responsibility on the management to provide additional disclosures in the financial statements. To provide additional disclosures in the financial statements. To achieve fair presentation, such framework puts an additional responsibility on the management to provide additional disclosures in the financial statements to achieve fair presentation. Or B point. It could be and or. So basically, at least one of these things should be there in that framework so that we can call it as a fair presentation framework. Such framework allows departures. Such framework allows departures. Yani management can follow its own judgment. Such framework allows departures from the requirements of the framework. Such framework allows departures from the requirements of the framework in exceptional circumstances. Such framework allows departures from the requirements of the framework in exceptional circumstances. In exceptional circumstances. Okay. Compliance framework, just follow what we have said, that's it. No additional responsibility to ensure fair presentation. Compliance framework, down arrow. Framework prescribed by law, which requires compliance with the requirements of the framework. Framework prescribed by law, which requires compliance with the requirements of the framework. Framework prescribed by law, which requires compliance with the requirements of the framework. Can you just put this as example? Fair presentation framework, example, Schedule 3 of Companies Act plus Ind AS. This combination ensures fair presentation of financial statements. Compliance framework, cooperative society accounts. So any framework which has taken effort to ensure fair presentation by giving an additional responsibility on the management that whatever minimum disclosures we have given, that you need to give additional, you need to give more disclosures if it is required, or it is allowing management to follow their own judgment to achieve fair presentation, then that is fair presentation framework. All right, please leave one line and write down one note. Yes, Vivek, just one note, please. See students, this I explained you just to give a explanation, but note you will write in statement form. Note, write down please. While forming an opinion on FS prepared under compliance framework. So let us say if I am auditing cooperative society accounts while forming an opinion on financial statements prepared under compliance framework, auditor should not use the phrase true and fair view. Auditor should not use the phrase true and fair view or presented fairly Basically, we don't use the word fair, True and fair view are presented fairly with a different ink unless required by law. Tomorrow, if Cooperative Society Act says that auditor needs to use these words in his report, then I will use it unless required by law. Done? Then what do we write in report? Full stop, continue. Next line. Instead, we use the phrase financial statements are materially prepared as per AFRF, applicable financial reporting framework. Okay, we will say that whatever format was there, that majorly that they have followed the format, but don't expect me to use the word true and fair view over here. Financial statements are prepared materially as per AFRF. Yeah, Durgesh. So normally, you can, if you want to use true and correct also is a very big word, because that provides almost like a guarantee. This is the best phrase to use. Financial statements are materially prepared as per AFRF. All right, because this phrase I have taken from pronouncements. So students, everyone over here now, everyone in the textbook, we will go very fast now. Applicable financial reporting framework. Aman, doubt पूछना है कि ताली बजाना है?
No, so the reaction of clapping was my mistake. I had a
no
question.
man, that is not done. You could have said that, sir. I wanted to clap and then I wanted to ask doubts.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, tell me now.
Fine, I have a doubt, sir. In this, in the compliance framework, let us say there's a user of a financial statement of a cooperative society who is not getting the required information from that financial statement. Then what is to be done, sir? Like there's a group of people, not a single individual, but there's a group of.
Then they can ask management to include those points in the accounts. It's not like cooperative society registrar says, don't put this in, don't write anything more than what we have said. The cooperative society accounts format is such that, okay, this is the format. That's it. They have not put any additional responsibility on the management to provide additional disclosure. That does not mean that they have restricted management for providing additional disclosure. Understood this? So if those members want it, they can request the management and then they can put the additional disclosures. But we can't force the management over here that you have to put additional disclosures and stuff.
But in case of fair presentation, we have the
fair presentation clearly Schedule 3 writes that the disclosures given are minimum disclosures. Management is expected to provide additional disclosures as per the facts and circumstances. Ind AS clearly has a lot of subjectivity in many standards, allowing management to go for its judgment. Are you clear with this?
Yes, sir.
So it's not like I'm assuming, it is there inside Schedule 3 in Ind AS. Okay. But in cooperative society accounts, just follow this format.
Yes, sir. So in the fair presentation framework, the auditor has the right where he can ask the management.
Of course, yes, because in the framework itself, it is written that they need to follow it.
Okay.
Understood this. All right. All right. Now look at this. Yeah, Srinidhi.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my doubt is with this compliance framework. So if we are not giving an opinion of true and fair view, like for what purpose, like how are we supposed to give an opinion if we are not giving true and fair view? Like
why do you think that opinion is always given only on true and fair view? I'll tell you, you know what is expected from the auditor? That is what I'm trying to tell you, that there is a misconception about this word true and fair. You know what is expected from the auditor? I'll tell you today in very simple words. Whichever entity you're auditing, the format that entity has used for preparing the financial statements, the accounting standards that entity has used for preparing the financial statements, and whatever is the business position of that entity, whether that is being reflected as per the format and accounting standards which are applicable to that entity. So if you actually download SA 200, it does not directly use the word true and fair view. It says that auditor is expected to form and express an opinion and provide an assurance whether financial statements are free from material misstatements and whether financial statements are as per applicable financial reporting framework. But what happens is that in India, most of the frameworks are fair presentation framework. And most of the time we are involved in the audit of corporate entities. In audit of corporate entities, the law itself wants us to use the word true and fair view. Plus, they are prepared as per Schedule 3 and accounting standards. So in 99 out of the 100 audit reports, we see the word true and fair view, true and fair view, true and fair view. So it is then understood by everyone, and everyone feels that auditor's responsibility is to express an opinion on true and fair view. No, auditor's responsibility is to express an opinion whether financial statements are prepared as per applicable financial reporting framework or not. And since most of the frameworks focus on fair presentation, that is why in most of the reports we see the word true and fair
True
view.
and fair view.
Understood?
Okay, sir. Understood.
Everyone over here. General, yeah, look at this applicable financial reporting framework. What is AFRF that they have just said normally? Any guideline based upon which management and those charged with governance. You know now who is those charged with governance? Inter-CA, hello, at least that much. The directors, the audit committee, the people who provide the direction to the entity in the preparation and presentation of financial statement. They are saying that basically any financial reporting framework that they are using should be acceptable as per the nature of the entity. Can I say if it is a not NPO, not for profit organization, then can I say they need to prepare profit and loss account instead of income and expenditure account? No, na? Hello, hey, who is saying yes over here? Okay, they need to prepare income and expenditure account. So whatever is the framework that they are using should be. Hey, now yeah, we are reading the full textbook, huh? So don't just think about fair presentation compliance. We are reading the whole definition of AFRF. So whatever is the AFRF should be acceptable as per nature of the entity. It should serve the purpose. We should check what is the AFRF required by law. So auditor needs to check all this. Auditor needs to understand the nature of financial statement. Yes, auditor is expected to understand that which financial statement he is auditing, whether it is GPFS or whether it is SPFS. I told you that you will be auditing which financial statement? GPFS. So first read the meaning of SPFS. Financial statements prepared in order to serve specific information needs of the intended users. Okay. Now look at this GPFS. Financial statements prepared to serve common information needs of majority of the users. The GPFS framework is governed by, so whatever final accounts we see that the companies, corporates, and all other entities are preparing, it is governed by Fair Presentation Framework, Compliance Framework. Now, students, I'll be silent for a minute. Just keep my notes in front of you and compare it with the textbook. I need to give you 2 minutes to read on your own. Please compare and read. I'm looking at you. I'm going nowhere. All right. Have you read it, beta? Hello? Everyone, have you understood it? I will read it very fast now. Fair presentation framework, just keep on thinking about Schedule 3 and Ind AS. A financial reporting framework that requires compliance with the framework. So whatever is given in Schedule 3 Ind AS, that much you need to follow. Means plus, first, sorry to burst your headphones. First, acknowledges directly or indirectly that it is necessary for the management to provide additional disclosures beyond those that is required by the framework. Acknowledges directly that in rare circumstances it may be necessary to depart from a requirement, means management may follow its own judgment to achieve fraud, to achieve fair presentation. Okay. Next, compliance framework. Some students are so hungry now. Fraud what बोला? हाँ, तो fraud, rod, जो बोलना है. Compliance framework. A financial reporting framework that requires compliance with the framework, cooperative society accounts, and there is nothing more given in that. You just follow this. They are not even saying that don't write anything extra. Whether management wants to write something extra, yes, no, they will decide. But they just say that follow our format. Look at this. Financial reporting framework that complies with the requirements of the framework and does not contain any of the acknowledgements, means any of the special statements as specified in the fair presentation frame. So what we see over here, neither this A nor this B is there in compliance framework cooperative society accounts. Ujwal, special purpose FS, I gave an example when I was explaining orally. One example, financial statements prepared to serve information needs of Axis Bank, let us say, to secure a loan. So you are preparing one specific set of financial statements which you are going to submit to Axis Bank, and how to prepare those accounts, in which manner you need to prepare, that you are doing everything just to serve the information of needs of the Axis Bank. That is special purpose. All right. Yes, Simran. Simran, sorry to use one Hindi dialogue. Simran?
Yes, sir.
जी ले अपनी जिंदगी सिमरन.
Mhm.
Yeah, Simran, yeah. So, Simran, you have asked a very good doubt in the chat box. All right. What she is saying is that, sir, tomorrow, let us say in Cooperative Society Act, law says that please use the word true and fair view. Then will it still be a compliance framework? Yes, it's a compliance framework, but we are using the language which is required by law. In that case, what we will do is, we will be discussing this in further essays, that if law wants us to use such kind of phrase, we will take some additional agreements from the management that you will provide additional disclosures and stuff. I'll be discussing about this in essay 210, agreeing to the terms of engagement. So Simran, you will have to reserve this doubt for a few more lectures. All right.
Okay, sir.
But I hope that now you are developing interest, that there are many things which we are going to discuss. All right. Today though is just a trailer. So we are done with one concept, applicable financial reporting framework, and every single concept that we will discuss will stay relevant till the last lecture because of the interconnection between these topics. Now see, what you studied today has an impact in your opinion paragraph, whether to use the word true and fair view or not. All right. Look at the next concept. Concept 2, materiality. It will just take 2 to 3 minutes, because materiality technically I'm going to discuss in essay 320. Technically, materiality I'm going to discuss in essay 320, essay 450. This is just 2-3 lines. Look at this. Just to ensure that you are aware about these words. Everyone knows that material items are which items? Sir, important items, significant items. Don't do such potty over here. Material items are which items? Which can influence the economic decisions of the users of FS. Anything that can influence the economic decision of the users of FS, those are material items. Look at this. Which can influence the economic decision of users of FS. Naturally, auditor needs to apply the concept of materiality at all stages of audit. We will actually take the numbers and we will solve the Excel sheet that how auditor does this while planning and performing the audit and while evaluating misstatements. Just one technical line I want to say, that when auditor applies the concept while planning and performing audit, that is essay 320. At the end of the audit, when you have found misstatements, it means some errors, in the financial statements, then when auditor applies the concept of materiality, that is essay 450. You just need to by heart this. When auditor applies the concept of materiality for planning and performing audit, that is essay 320. When auditor applies the concept of materiality while evaluating misstatements at the end of the audit, that is essay 450. We'll be discussing these things later on. Just that I just want you to be aware of few words. Materiality is a relative term. You know that there cannot be any definition of materiality. because it will keep on changing upon based upon facts and circumstances of each case. You cannot have one single standard rule for materiality. That is why we say it is a relative term. Look at this. It depends upon facts and circumstances of each case, and mostly it depends upon auditor's judgment also. So materiality can't have a single rule, but we can always have some 4 or 5 factors based upon which auditor decides whether something is material or not. Look at this. Determination of materiality broadly depends upon following factors. You know these factors, man. You know these factors by heart. Materiality depends upon size, nature, and complexity of entity's business. If you are conducting audit of a small entity like my entity, the Audit Academy, little bit of turnover, small entity, then in that case, of course, admissions of the students, payment done to the professor, myself, whatever I'm drawing, and my staff, that much only. If you're conducting audit of a manufacturing entity, come on, man. So size, nature, complexity of entity's business, size of the amount. But in life, always size does not matter. Nature also matters. Size of the amount and nature of the account. Applicable financial reporting framework we discussed today. Let's do this. AFRF. Now AFRF, you are going to feel and think about it differently. Highlight this one line. For this line, I am teaching this concept. Beta, when I'm conducting audit of this company final accounts or cooperative accounts and stuff, I need to continuously think about the information needs of the users, and not just 1 or 2 users. Commonly, what could be important for the users? This becomes more important in fair presentation framework, because you have to continuously keep on thinking about what could be important for the users. Let us provide an additional note for that. So common information needs of the users of financial statements. Auditor's professional judgment and experience, that factor is always there. Baki, naturally, we'll be discussing more about this in 320 and 450. Just that I wanted you to know these words, nothing else. I went very fast with concept of materiality, but everyone, you have understood? Yes? These points are very basic from inter-CA level. It's just that I don't want to miss out anything from inter-CA, plus I have to also cover final CA. So the task is big. All right. That's it. Then we will continue from the next concept in the upcoming lectures. All right. Please ensure that little bit revisions you do, at least the notes and stuff, so that you stay connected, nothing else. But if your attempt is December 21 or May 22, whatever we have discussed, every day just keep on revising and finish it off. All right. Thank you so much. Anyone having doubts can sit with me after the lecture. The students looking at recorded lecture, I'm going to discuss live with them doubts, So if you want to come for live sessions, welcome.